this is like a whole lot to unpack. So first of all, to address the certification topic, that is a state by state requirement. In the state of Texas, generally speaking, most of us do hold teaching certifications. If you go back to the start of my career, I already had one.
Yep.
And the irony was mine expired a semester before I started back at the high school level. And I was like, I'm going to let this go because I'm never going to go back to the high school level. And I was like, you know what? It's $20. I'll just renew it. You never know. And I wouldn't have gotten the job had I not renewed that thing. Which actually mine may be up again. So I should probably do that because again, you never know. But anyway, so most schools require one. Several don't, but it's just to hedge your bets. I would get one, even if it's through like an alternative certification program, which you can knock out in a semester. Because like, for example, we all know TCU just went through a transition, right? They've transitioned football coaching staffs. Well, out went the strength staff. And so we've got 2 strength coaches that are looking for a job, one of whom lives right next to a school that had a strength and conditioning job open in my school district. So I know the athletic director, but he didn't have a teaching certification. So it's like, he's in a panic trying to get that thing, which he ended up getting it. He got the job, like all is well. All right, cool. But the point is that you do need a teaching certification. So that's that piece of it. Again, state by state and even district by district, but I already had mine. As far as what that transition was like, I already had experience at the high school level, so I knew what it was like to coach and work with middle school kids. I understood the landscape of, you're going to miss 3 days this week because you have standardized testing, or the gym is taken over because of voting, or like whatever, or there's a school picnic this week, like whatever bullshit stuff goes on at a school that interrupts your training process. But a lot of college strength coaches, like Joey Bergelis and I are good friends. And like after his first year,
Texas
like
too.
we're sitting after a clinic that he'd spoken out for me. I'm the Region 2 director for the National High School Strength Coaches Association. So I'm on the board for that.
NHSS,
and we a regional clinic. What's that?
NHSSS, that thing?
NHSSCA.
Gotcha.
There's so many letters in strength and conditioning, it's a lot. But anyway, he and I are sitting there and he's like, God, he's like, it's so hard to get any continuity in your training program because every time you turn around, a kid is missing, because it's like, then they're also a cheerleader. So it's like they're a tennis player and they're a cheerleader. So Tuesday they're in weights and then Thursday they're not. So it's like, you kind of just have to have this mindset of whoever shows up, cool, which is completely opposite of collegiate mindset, where you're like, we have 1 second until the session starts and I am missing one person. Like, we're all going to die right now. This is like, I'm going to kill you all. Right. And that's the other piece to it is, you know, I came from that frame of mind of, I had 40 athletes across 3 teams, and I had that like 360 days a year. I saw them, I had that depth of relationship. And so the depth of requirement of me, of that athlete, was tremendous. And so I go back to the high school level and I'm like, we're going to run it like that. And I'm going to act like that. And we're going to have this level of accountability. And it just didn't work because, number one, the commitment level of a high school athlete is not there. Number 2, your relationship with that high school athlete is not even close to what it is at the collegiate level. And so I really had to change. Sorry, my dog's back here crying and whining. I really had to change kind of my mindset, but also my approach to these kids. And the other piece to it was, you know, when you're working at the college level, that's big business. Like, you are trying to produce winning teams to generate money for a university and potentially money for that athlete in their career afterwards. At the high school level, like 5% of your kids are moving on. So it's like the lesson that you need to be teaching them is a lifetime of fitness skills. And so if you're going into it with this drill sergeant mindset, they're miserable. And that's their first experience in the weight room, is having to start something over because they're, you know, or they're late and they got in trouble and this, that, whatever. So you can't breathe down their necks as much as you can at the college level. And so like, I kind of had to take a little bit of a chill pill and take the approach of, I need to make this experience, not that it was miserable at the college level, it's just different. It's a business model. I had to make it a little bit more enjoyable and fun and change kind of who I was and how I approached it, because I want those kids to walk into a weight room after college and think, this is something I want to do for a lifetime, not you know, we all see those college athletes that leave and they like never pick up a weight again, or they never do anything hard because it was so miserable for them. Like I didn't want to be that. And I definitely was that my first couple of years as a high school strength coach. I had to learn like what I needed to get out of kids and how to approach things to get those things out of them. So I really I had to change a ton as a coach in those 6 years. As a technical coach, I would say like I probably got like, you know, we're doing this conditioning cohort or whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, I haven't done this stuff in like 6 years. Like I haven't looked at anything high level. Like I told you, I was reading research this week and I was like, what is that? What is that word? Concentric? I don't know what that means anymore. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that bad, but I mean, like you don't need to get into the depth that you need to train a higher level athlete, but from a standpoint of systems and breaking things down and teaching perspective, I got much better, because you have to be better when you have 60 little tennis athletes run across the street from tennis practice. The coaches are still over there. They've never touched a weight before. And here they are in a room full of metal, and it's just you trying to teach them how to do anything. So you have to have lots and lots of structure and progressions and systems in place to address all of those things when it's 1 versus 60 instead of a staff versus, 40 football guys, or you versus 12 women's basketball players.
Personality wise, let's start with that. What was the biggest change that you did make? You talked about the drill sergeant and you talked about your evolution. How'd you do it?
Well, one, as any good strength coach has done, I got fired from football. And
Why?
that was, I got fired from football after 4 years.
Why?
Well, number one, the football program sucked.
And so fuck has to do with you.
Right. Okay. But we all know that when the football program sucks, it is always the strength coach, right? But really what it was is, so those guys had to be like my staff, like they were a strength staff. And
the position coaches were?
The position coaches.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Okay. And so you would have like varying degrees of compliance and varying degrees of weight room knowledge. And I would try to match their weight room skill with like what I was asking them to do. And so that got exciting. And initially, like the evolution there was I tried to have meetings with them and go over their assignment for the like training block. And then it was like, I couldn't get people to come in and meet with me. And so I'm like telling the head coach, like somebody hasn't met with me, blah, blah, blah. Like I'm making myself available, whatever. So then I started doing videos, but even then, like I would send, okay, we're doing shoulder cars, like big mistake. I think that we can actually we teach some FMS stuff, right? This is going to happen. We're going to get kids to do like a 90% effort car. This is real life. Well, I send this video, which I have literally like looked at another video, effectively copied it to make it my own, and sent it to these coaches. I go out in the hall and they're coaching it. They're like, push your shoulder forward. And I'm like, that is exact opposition of what I went over in the video. And so I just walk over and I was like I'm fuming at this point, because this coach, it's just chronic that this is going on. And there's smoke rolling out of my ears, like the offensive coordinator standing behind me. And I'm like,
you get fucked too.
I go, I think that it would be really beneficial for you to go back and watch the video that I sent you. And I just walked off. And like later, the offensive coordinator comes up and he's like, you don't always handle things right. Cause at like 18 months in, I started flying off the handle, because I'm like, listen, motherfuckers, like if you're not doing what I asked, like we're punishing kids for showing up late and you guys are late. Like that at some point, when you're enforcing rules that you won't follow, that is not holding people accountable. That is being an asshole.
Congratulations on making it to the end of the video. Why don't you celebrate by watching more videos just like it? You can also help us on our quest to placate the algorithm gods by liking, sharing, subscribing, and commenting. Thank you.